What's Brian here? Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, doing my edge videos between the Niners and the Colts, happening this Sunday night in San Francisco. I'm excited for this matchup. I hope you guys are as well. 49ers and Colts, they pretty much have the same record. 49ers are 2-3. The Colts are 2-4. Very disappointed for both teams. I thought both teams were going to be amazing. This was going to be the clash of the matchups that we were looking for before the season started. But unfortunately, both teams are not doing well. Still, both teams are trying to look in the right direction. And the Colts right now, they're tending in the right direction after their big win against the Houston Texans. I hope you guys are having a great Monday. Nothing too crazy for me. Got predictions out tomorrow. And then the rest of the week, I'll try to talk more about this game, talk about my favorite YouTubers for the 49ers, and all that cool stuff. I hope you guys strap on, enjoy the ride, enjoy me talking a little bit, and some 49er talk, right? Let's get this started, but before I do, per usual, please like and subscribe. That's going to definitely help me out a lot. Click that bell notification to get notified of future videos. Share. There's cuts of Whitfeld Niner Faithfuls. Have a new podcast out if you guys want to check it out. Link will be in the description below if you want to check out our latest episode talking about my friend Aaron quitting his job to be an entrepreneur. Please check it out. I encourage you guys to look at it. Thank you guys so much. Let's get this started. 49ers versus Colts. Who has the edge per position? First up, the quarterback position. Carson Wentz versus our quarterbacks. I don't even know who's starting, to be honest with you. But who has the position edge for this initial matchup? If I had to pick an edge, I actually don't know, to be honest with you, because all three players are beat up. Carson Wentz, we all know his injury history. Jimmy Garoppolo, we know his injury history. Trey Lance, he got hurt in his first game against Arizona, first full-time start. It's very confusing. Very confusing times. I don't know. I really don't want to give the edge to nobody, but if I had to give an initial edge, I'll probably give it to Carson Wentz. I know that sounds really weird to say, very dumb to say, but at the same time, I can't trust Jimmy G to stay healthy, and plus, he can turn the ball over a little bit. Trey Lance, I don't know if I'm feeling comfortable yet. He did have some great moments against Arizona, but the way Kyle Shanahan used him, I don't know, it wasn't up to his potential, I would say. I think he gets the initial edge, plus he's with his old coach, Frank Reich. Really, the only problem with Wentz, or I should say two, is staying healthy and being a better teammate. Those are the two things he can improve upon. Then he could be a fantastic quarterback like he was in 2017 with the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. But we'll see what it leads to. But for right now, Carson Wentz going to get the initial edge. And plus, last year in 2020, a beat-up Wentz beat the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. I'm still pretty mad about that game, to be honest with you. But anyways, edge, Carson Wentz, but by a slight edge, because I think the 49ers quarterbacks can be better, but Wentz right now is pretty much the quote-unquote healthiest quarterback that we got, and he's the definitive starter for this matchup as of this video. Next up, the running back position, 49ers versus Colts. Who am I going to give the initial edge to? I love me some Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. I mean, he has done a great job for the Colts this year. He did start off a little bit slow for the first few games, but he's been turning it on for the past few games. I'm a big fan of his, and also I have him on my fantasy team, so this week against the Texans, he gave me about 30 points. Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. I don't know if I'm going to win this week, but who cares? He's a really great running back. I followed him all year long because I've had him pretty much all year, and he's been doing wonders for the most part. 49ers, as much as I want to give them the edge, I don't know. I think a lot of intrigue, or what you want to call it, concerns for health issues. I mean, that's really the issue with the 49ers yet again, is health. I hope we can get some running backs back. I love me some Elijah Mitchell. I think he's been a big difference maker. He's been making the running game a little bit more watchable. Trey Sermon, he has his great moments, but there's just something off about him for a little bit. Maybe he needs another year to get acclimated to the NFL. If I had to give the initial edge, I'm giving it to Jonathan Taylor and even Marlon Mack a little bit. I know they haven't used Mack that much ever since Taylor's been going off for the Colts since last year, but I do love me some Taylor, and I think he's going to probably have a big game against the 49ers because our run defense isn't great. But I hope the 49ers, they're ready for him because they're probably going to feed him the ball quite a bit. The Colts offensive line, they could be really good when healthy. So edge, Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. I know it's been weird this past year. I haven't been giving any edges to the 49ers running backs, but they all just been so beat up and they haven't been performing really well for the most part. Next up, the wide receiver position, 49ers versus Colts. Who am I give the initial edge to? If I had to give it to this one, I'd probably give it to the 49ers in this case because I love me some Deebo Samuel. We all know what he can do with the offense. He didn't have the best game of his life against Arizona, but whoever's going to be the starter, he's going to be a big part of the offense, and Kyle Shanahan should just honestly give him the ball almost 100% of the time, because even if it's predictable what he's going to do, he could just stop guys, he could truck guys, he's a fast guy. What else can you say about him? And also Brandon Ayuk, the 49ers really haven't used him too much for whatever reason, but he could be a great threat when available. Juwan Jennings, he's a great role player. Trent Sherfield, I'm surprised they don't use him that much in the receiving game. He should be important. Mohamed Sanu, he's been performing really well this year, actually, on some crunch moments. I'll give him a lot of credit for that. The Colts, they did get T.Y. Hilton back last week against the Texans. That's a big plus for them. If I'm looking at the plethora of talent that we have a receiver, I'll give the initial edge to the 49ers in this case. Next up, tight end position, Ross Dwelley and Charlie Warner versus the Colts tight end. Who am I going to get the initial edge to? I don't know, a little bit tough for this one, I would say, because George Kittle's not available in this one. He's currently on injured reserve. That kind of sucks right there because he's a big part of our whole team in terms of the offense. I mean, this year they haven't used him that much in terms of the receiving game, but still, very important part, but for whatever reason, it can't really work out. So if I have to get the initial edge, I'll give it to Ross Dwelley and Warner just a little bit, because Dwelley, he can play some good football if you put him in the right situation. He's gotten us some touchdowns this year, and I think he's been a good backup to Kittle whenever he's been out. Initial edge, San Francisco, but not that much. Maybe just a slight edge. And last up, the offensive line, 49ers versus Colts. Who am I going to give the initial edge to for this one? A little bit tough because both offensive line, when they're both healthy, they're actually very good. I mean, you look at the running game for both teams. They can run very effectively when the O-line is on point. The 49ers, they just got Alex Mack this year, and he's been good for the most part. He's been a big difference maker in terms of the offensive line. The Colts, they have Quentin Nelson, the guy I've always wanted since he got drafted. I don't know. It's a really tough one. This is probably the toughest matchup I could say in terms of O-line, who can contain their defensive line. But if I had to get the initial edge, wow, that's actually tough. I might give it to the 49ers by a slight edge. I know that sounds really weird, but I think the 49ers, for the most part, they've been okay on the O-line. They've had some terrible moments, but at the same time, they've had some great moments, and I'm hoping with the bye week they just received, it's going to help them big time against this Colts defensive line, led by DeForest Buckner, of course. But the 49ers O-line, I'm going to give them a lot of faith in this matchup, and I hope they do really well because they're the most important part of our offenses. They got to run block, they got to protect Trey Lance or Jimmy G, and make everything go smoothly, and I think they will this week and have a rebound game, definitely. So edge, slight edge to the 49ers. On to the defense. Next up, defense, 49ers versus Colts. Who am I going to give the initial edge to for defensive line? Kind of a tough one, to be honest with you. I mean, the 49ers defensive line, they can do some great stuff. They can get pressure on the quarterback. They did a really good job against Arizona last Sunday. Unfortunately, they didn't get the win, but they put enough pressure on Kyler. They were able to do great things. D4, Nick Bosa off the edge. Eric Armstead, he's having not too bad of a year as well. The Colts, they have some great guys as well. You got DeForest Buckner, of course. He's been a huge difference maker over there, and maybe he is the difference maker that we could have had in San Francisco. But hey, it is what it is. I don't want to make too many speculations on the trade and who won the trade and what have you. But anyways, if I had to give the initial edge, I might give it to the 49ers slight edge. I know that's kind of crazy to say, but I think the Niners, they can do a great job in terms of putting pressure on that offensive line, that really great offensive line. Hopefully getting Carson Wentz down a little bit with having D Ford and Bosa back 100%. I think that's going to be a big difference maker, and I hope that is the difference maker in terms of it. And they got to stop Jonathan Taylor badly. I know it's a little bit suspect in terms of the run game, but I think they know that they have to plan against Taylor in particular. Initial edge, 49ers, but it's a tough one, really, really tough one. Next up, the linebacker position, Fred Warner versus Darius Leonard. Who am I going to give the initial edge to? This was a really tough one as well. I mean, I always give high marks to Leonard. He's been one of the best linebackers for the past few years when he's been in the NFL. Also with Fred Warner, wow, I mean, this is going to be nailed to the nail on who is the best in the NFL in terms of linebackers. You have other guys like Bobby Wagner, but these two right now, I believe, are the best at what they do in terms of the middle spot in the backfield just a little bit. But if I get the initial edge, I'm giving it to my boy Fred Warner. I mean, Fred Warner, come on. He's the best in my opinion. A little bit over Leonard. I still love me some Leonard all day. I always give him high marks, but I'm still going to give it to my boy Fred Warner because he's just the guy right there, and every time I watch him play, it just awes me, to be honest with you, on how he can get to a sideline or get to a tackle real fast and diagnose plays very quickly on the run. That's all I could pretty much say. Leonard could do all those amazing things, but I still love my boy Fred Warner, so if it is a little biased, then I apologize, but still, I do love me some Fred Warner big time. Edge, San Francisco in this case. Last up, the defensive backs. Who am I going to give the initial edge to between the Niners and the Colts? I'm going to hands down give it to the Colts because the 49ers secondary has always been suspect. I mean, all year long, they've been terrible for the most part. Losing Jason Verrett doesn't help at all, to be honest with you. And K'Wan Williams, he could make his appearance in this game, but he's been banged up as well. So every time he plays, he gets hurt, unfortunately. I don't know. the 49ers secondary, I still don't feel good about, and it's a big bummer right there. We couldn't got Richard Sherman, but unfortunately he got hurt in Tampa Bay. That sucks right there. Colts, I do believe in them just a little bit more. I don't know if they're the best secondary in terms of the NFL, but I think they're better than the 49ers where they can make a little bit of stops and maybe get a pick or two in this game. I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, but the 49ers, I still don't feel good about the secondary. And I know the Colts are going to try to exploit that. Frank Wright and company, they're going to try to find ways to get Carson Wentz to the deep ball and get some pass interference calls because the 49ers are terrible at it, to be honest with you. So hopefully D'Amico Ryans did address this during the offseason, or I should say the bye week, but I don't know. We'll see when the game happens on Sunday night. That's pretty much it, you guys. Pretty even in terms of the whole team. I might give more edges for the Colts in terms of the offense, but the defense definitely for the 49ers. We'll see. This is just my opinion. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you didn't, then I'm sorry, but you know what? It is my opinion. Please let me know what you guys think about the 49ers and the Colts. Who would you give the initial edge to for each team? Please let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to help me out a lot. I'll have to catch you guys up tomorrow on Tuesday for Prediction Tuesday. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day.